Sean Diddy Combs' mom reacts to new Netflix docuseries about her son. Says it contains lies and fake narratives. Lies and fake narratives, huh? You know what?
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
I call bullshit. You know why? Because after watching that documentary, spoilers, if you haven't watched it, they did not dig into Janice Combs at all. They did not really dig into Janice Combs' business as of today, I should say. They talked about her past and how she raised him in the party life, which was not a lie and was not a fake narrative. You raised him in a party atmosphere, which is where he got his fixation for throwing a bunch of parties and wanting to be the life of the party. You were in interviews yourself saying these things. It's not like we just made up these stories about you. You, Janice Combs, are in interviews saying how you raised your son. You didn't say that the Rolling Stone was lying about you. Let us not forget, this information that Netflix used was footage and information that is already out there and facts. Nothing on the docuseries was a lie, because it is all information that is already out, including information that was left out of the docuseries. Miss Janice Combs, the publishing that you own was left out of the docuseries. Kurt Burrows could have easily went there and dug in your ass. Kurt Burrows left his own lawsuit against Janice Combs out of the docuseries. If you notice, Kurt did not mention he was suing Janice Combs at all. They showed parts of the lawsuit and information that was within the lawsuit, but Kurt himself did not mention the lawsuit that he had with Janice, because it would have been, biased. It would have made Kurt look very biased in the docuseries. And if you notice, they kept showing Kurt and letting him almost narrate throughout the whole thing. They kept doing that because Kurt was coming from an honest place. He was the president of Bad Boy, someone that was side by side with you and Diddy day in and day fucking out. Nothing from his mouth was a lie. So like I said, he could have easily dug in your ass, Janice, and talked about that lawsuit. So Janice Combs specifically calls out a section of the series in which one of Sean's former friends and colleagues claims he once saw the music mogul slap Janice. Now, of course, I don't know if that part was actually true, because there's no footage of that. There's just hearsay, but there's multiple sources about that particular incident that he said. Hell, we have Little Rod saying that he would sacrifice his own mom. Little Rod said that Diddy said that he would sacrifice his own mom already. So we know how he actually feels about her anyway. Okay, Sean Diddy Combs' mother, Janice Combs, has publicly responded to the new Netflix docuseries about her son. Janice claims that the series contains lies and inaccuracies about Sean and his upbringing. That part's not true. Sean Diddy Combs' mother, Janice Combs, is sharing her thoughts on the new Netflix docuseries about her son. In a statement to Deadline published on Saturday, December 6th, Janice said that the 4-part series, which was released on the streamer on December 2nd, contains lies and inaccuracies about Sean's life. I am writing this statement to correct some of the lies presented in the Netflix Sean Combs Reckoning. She wrote, these inaccuracies regarding my son's upbringing and family life is intentionally done to mislead viewers and further harm our reputation. No. Your son has already ruined that reputation by his fucking self. The Netflix documentary didn't do shit but just talk about what was already out there. Your son ruined your reputation his fucking self. She went on to specifically cite an interview from the first episode of the series that explores a 1991 incident in which 9 people died during a stampede at a charity basketball game promoted by Sean at the City College of New York. The incident pretty much where everybody got trampled and lost their lives, the college party. In the interview, Sean's former friend and colleague Kurt Burrows claimed he saw the singer slap Janice that day, something which she denies. Now, again, if Kirk Burrows saw it, Kirk Burrows saw it himself, I don't believe it to be a lie. I'm just being honest. There's a lot of people that can vouch for Kirk Burrows being a very honest guy and not telling a lie. I'm pretty sure if he saw it, it happened. Whether you want to deny it or not, Janice Combs, I get that to save face. But at the same time, I believe that actually happened. The allegation stated by Kirk Burrows that my son slapped me while we were conversing after the tragic City College events on December 28, 1991 are inaccurate and patently false. Janice said in her statement to Deadline, that was a very sad day for all of us. For him to use this tragedy and incorporate fake narratives to further his prior failed and current attempt to gain what was never his, Bad Boy Records, is wrong, outrageous, and past offensive. So let me also clear that part up. Kirk has never tried to own Bad Boy Records. Let's clear that part up right now. Kirk has never tried to own Bad Boy Records. If anything, he's always just tried to help Sean. He's always tried to help him. He's never tried to take from him. If anything, he just wants the percentage that he was owed, that he was robbed of, back. That's all he's ever said. He wants the percentage that he was owed as far as being the president and CEO and co-founder of Bad Boy Records. He wants his just due. That's it. It's all he's ever wanted. He wants his percentage. I give you a quarter, then I take it from you, then I give it back, but I sell it back to you. What the fuck do you mean I want to gain what was never mine? If it was mine in the first place and you took it from me and then tried to sell it back to me, motherfucker, that's mine. It was mine to begin with because I started it with you. And even for him to even have just 25% and being the co-founder, he was being robbed from the get-go and still was ready to work with Sean. That's the other part of that. He was getting robbed from the beginning and still working with your son. So what the fuck do you mean as far as him wanting to gain Bad Boy Records when he never wanted to own Bad Boy's fucking records? He never wanted Bad Boy Records. He just wanted his percentage. That was robbed of him. I am requesting that these distortions, falsehoods, and misleading statements be publicly retracted. She said later in her statement. Can't be retracted. Docuseries is out. During the moment in question in the episode, Burrows says, I saw Janice question Sean about his future. He's going into the music business thing. He just left school, and now this extreme tragedy just occurred. She's like, did he make the right decision? And I saw him put his hands on her, call her a bitch, and slapped her. Like I said, that's not the first time we heard about that story. That's not the first time we heard that story. In the docuseries, the title card states that Sean, 56 years old, did not respond to the filmmaker's request for comment on the accusation that he physically harmed his mother because he knows what's happened. This docuseries comes in the wake of the disgraced music mogul's federal convictions on 2 prostitution-related charges for which he is currently serving a 50-month prison sentence. 50 Cent, I'll tell you. Handed down in October, Sean is also facing dozens of lawsuits accusing him of sexual assault. One day before the docuseries release, Sean's spokesperson, Judah Engelmeyer called the project a shameful hit piece in a statement obtained by People, claiming that Netflix relied on stolen footage that was never authorized for release, which we went over that as well. It's not stolen footage. It's not stolen footage at all. As Roger Barnes broke it down, pretty much it's him having videographers that would just follow him around all day. He wanted to be seen. He wanted to be taped, yada, yada, yada. But he got taped, of course, for weeks at a time and months at a time, and those videographers never got paid. So the footage, of course, is owned by the videographer. The highest bidder comes along, which is Netflix or 50 Cent, whoever it is that wants to buy the footage. Highest bidder gets it. Netflix puts it out. That's how the footage is got. Nothing was stolen at all. It was never owned by him to be stolen from. That's the other part of that. Like I said, nothing in the docuseries, in my opinion, was a lie. Absolutely nothing. Because if it was, that's the other part of this, right? Why would Netflix put out the docuseries about all the information that's already out? You saying it's a lie? When all this information has been said about you for almost 20 years now. That's the other part of that. So, being that this information is 20 to 30 years in the making of being said about you, and it's just now coming to the light, how is it now all of a sudden a lie? You didn't say it was a lie before. When all these things being said about you before, you didn't say it was a lie before. That's the other part to that. Like, why when Netflix puts the shining light on your demon darkness that you've been hiding and doing, it's a lie now. Nah. This has nothing to do with 50 Cent disliking you, sir. That's the other part to this. The docuseries is not because 50 Cent hates you. It's because of what you've done to Misa Hilton, who I don't know why she's trying to, say, oh, this docuseries is hurting me and my family. No, the fuck it ain't. No, the fuck it ain't. The docuseries ain't hurting you and your family. What your fucking ex did is hurting you and your family. What your ex did to you, putting his hands on you multiple times, is what hurts your family. You trying to say something against Wolf being the actual father, knowing damn well Sean is not the father of Justin, is what hurts your family. Him being a part of, or should I say, him quote unquote allegedly being said by multiple people having something to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur, among other things. The biggest part of it is his so-called best friend that he made money off of and used his royalties to pay for his funeral, Biggie Smalls. People say you had something to do with setting him up to be killed. Then you have the multiple times that you put your hands on women. You have the multiple times that you sexually assaulted women. You have the multiple times you sexually assaulted men. Kurt Burrows had to come out for the first time and say that you sexually assaulted him on the docuseries. First time he ever said it fucking publicly at all. But the first time he says it is on a docuseries that you sexually assaulted him. Now, he hasn't even put a lawsuit out on you. Everybody else has. But think about the person that actually has sexual assault done to him and didn't even put a lawsuit out on you. No, he got a bigger fish to fry with your ass, because he got a bigger fish to fry with Miss Janice Combs, who, again, we could have dug in your ass a little deeper, Janice, because we could have dug into your publishing that you own. You're the actual one that Bad Boy Records name is in. We didn't even talk about that part of the docuseries. That part got left out. But there's plenty of evidence that shows that Janice Combs is the actual owner of Bad Boy Records and not Sean Combs, because the whole label is in her name. The publishing is in her name. We looked up the records already. Hell, why you have Beyonce in your publishing, I don't fucking know. Why you have R. Kelly in your publishing, I don't know. Because that's the same question I have for Justin Combs, and why Justin Combs has a piece of damn near the entire music industry. Your son Justin Combs has a piece of damn near the entire music industry from the 90s into early 2000s. Explain that to me. He's never stepped foot in a fucking booth. How does Justin own so much publishing and having all this income and royalties coming in from different artists, and he's never wrote a single fucking lyric in his life? Because of the crooked business that your son does, that you are ownership of. Like I said, Kirk could have dug in your ass deep, and he chose not to. So I would watch what I say as far as what is a lie and what is a fake narrative. Because nothing in that lawsuit about you, Janice Combs, is a fake narrative. All that is factual, documented information, and that lawsuit is still fucking pending. So I would watch what I say as far as what is a fake narrative and inaccuracy. Because there are many accurate quotes and many accurate statements within that document. We read the entire PDF file. We read the entire lawsuit. There's nothing that is a fake narrative in there, Janice. There is a lot of factual information in the docuseries that you say has a fake narrative of it. Didn't even touch on that lawsuit. You need to be thankful that they didn't dig into you and your actual business dealings and what you have to do as far as your ownership and affiliation with Bad Boy Records. You bet to pray to God that that doesn't come to light on you. Because let a judge find out that you are the owner of Bad Boy Records. Ho, 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 ho. Let a judge find that out. DJ Bear Gang, what's going on? Let a judge find that out. Let a judge find out. Oh, wait, who owns Bad Boy? Wait, all of this shit is in Janice's name? The house, the cars? Wait, all this shit is in Janice's name? All the shit that's signed off of is in Janice's name? Oh. So, again, be thankful, Janice Combs. To be fucking thankful he didn't dig in your ass, bruh. Speaking of digging in asses, Gene Dale wanted to reiterate something that was also not mentioned in the docuseries. But Kirk Burrows, of course, not led it to it. He pretty much, again, it was the first time he said that he was sexually assaulted by Sean, right? But what people don't remember that Kirk left out is that Diddy and Kirk had a little bit of a deeper relationship than what was talked about. I'll just say.
And when I was looking at this documentary, we already know that Diddy, he took Kim Porter from Albie Shore, but I had no idea that she was working at the front office at Uptown.
Well, first of all, man, they got part of this shit right. You understand? And they was talking about how Kim Porter worked at the front desk. How did Kim Porter, coming from Georgia, get a position like that to work at the front desk of Uptown Records? You understand? First and foremost, you got your man Russell Simmons out here dealing with these young girls. You understand? Kim Porter was one of them. She was then passed from Russell Simmons to Andre Harrell. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm just gonna give it to you. You know what I'm saying? Because these niggas be out here playing, talking all this shit, and be acting like they know what they talking about. She was working for Russell first, then she was passed over to Andre Harrell. You understand? So now Andre Harrell has her in the office and stuff like that. And it was said that it was a girl also in Uptown, and I don't know if it was Kim. I don't know if it was Kim or one of her friends walked in on Andre Harrell getting a fellatio and was given a red Mercedes-Benz 300C for keeping her mouth closed behind her. You understand? Because when Kirk Burrows was talking about Puff did that or whatever like that, you understand? It actually happened to Andre Harrell up in Uptown Records. Kim Porter's at the desk because Andre Harrell is doing Russell Simmons a favor by giving her a job over there. Because now Russell Simmons is trying to get her friend, Kamoya. Because all of them was all of them was models. Kim, Kamoya, and they was young girls. So now her and Al get together and everything like that. Check this out. Kim didn't get with Puff until Puff got his deal. Because you got to realize, Misa Kim was cool. Kim didn't get with Puff until after Puff got his deal. So all that, he got him from Al and stuff like that, nah. She went with the money was, bro. She went with the money. And you could call it whatever you want to. You understand what I'm saying? That's how it was. You understand? I think Justin could have been about 2 or 3 or something like that when they really made it a thing. It takes me back, brother. I don't know. But I know they was cool. Misa was cool with Kim. You understand? Because Kim was with Al in the whole 9 yards, and Misa was with Puff. Kim went over and snaked Misa with Puff when Puff got a deal, when he finally got that deal with Clyde Davis. And the money came in. So she started messing with him, this, that, and the third, the whole 9 yards. Now, it goes deeper than that. Because Kim turns around and she gets snaked. And nobody said this in the documentary. She gets snaked by Sarah, which is her best friend. It was Tanisha, Sarah, and Kim. Those 3 girls right there used to always be together. So she done snaked Misa.
He's talking about Sarah Chapman. Now, the crazy part about Sarah Chapman is that Sarah Chapman was originally with Tupac.
You understand? Sarah ended up snaking Kim over a $500 bet that Puff had in the office that he was going to take her from some basketball player dude that she was messing with at the time.
Gary Payton?
Gary Payton. You're right. Gary Payton. Now, allegedly, I don't know if Gary was messing with her or whatever like that, but that's what he said. But Sarah goes deeper than that. Sarah was messing with Tupac. She was messing with Corey. And she goes with Puff and have a baby by him. You understand what I'm saying? So all these girls who all are friends get manipulated by Puff, and they at one time was like enemies. They wasn't effing with each other. Then all of a sudden, I guess money had changed that whole shit for you.
What was Puffy's relationship like with Kirk Burroughs?
Bruh. Kirk Burroughs was the president of Bad Boy.
Now, before he even speaks on that, real quick, just want to add that whole circle of friends. If you notice from the names, those first 3 names were kind of getting passed around. God bless the dead with Kim Porter. From what Gene is saying, Kim was getting passed around. I don't necessarily think Kim was getting passed around, but I do think she was, again, like a Cassie at the time. Like they all pretty much were like a Cassie, young and naive and, blinded by the lights of the glitz and glam and the fame and the money, like he just said, right? So you get Amisa Hilton, who was also at one point with Suge. I believe, did Misa have something to do with Pac? I think it was just Suge. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, it was just Suge. It was just Suge. So Misa had a relationship with Suge, but also had a relationship with Diddy. Sarah has a relationship with Pac, but then has a relationship with Diddy. Excuse me. Kim has a relationship with Al, but then has a relationship with Diddy. But Kim also had a fixation with Tupac, if you remember. Remember when she had the T-shirt? Kim Porter wore a Tupac T-shirt. So again, all these women were pretty much, in a way, getting moved around from person to person. I'm just now, like I said, connecting the dots as far as the girls go. Because like I said, Sarah and Misa had have relationships with artists on death row, or I should say people of death row, and Bad Boy. And you could almost say the same thing for Kim Porter when it comes to Tupac. Because Tupac was, the only reason Diddy, remember, even liked, or I should say wanted Kim Porter was because Kim Porter had a fixation with Pac. That was part of his thing. He wanted whoever Pac, or not Pac wanted. He wanted whatever Pac had. So being that she had a fixation with Tupac, that was another incentive for Diddy to have Kim Porter.
I met Kirk, because I knew Diddy from the same gang. I didn't meet Kirk until Diddy asked me to start letting him call in it so I could do security for him or whatever like that. It went like I wouldn't do security unless Puff called me himself. But then he said, yo, let Kirk, because I don't know my schedule, Gene. I don't know what I'm going to do. Let Kirk, you know what I'm saying, call you and let you know what schedule I have if you could do security for me on those days. Now, I told Diddy at the time, yo, man, I don't want nobody to know anything. So if anything happened, you don't know me. All right? I told him that. Just like that. If anything had to go down, you don't know me. And I was saying that in the sense, whereas that if anything had to go down and shit like that, let the people do their own homework. Don't give them my name up and everything like that. Anybody would tell them like that if you are doing security for a dude of that caliber. So now, Kirk Burroughs, me and Puff, for some odd reason, after the Red Zone, because Puff used to do, they didn't talk about this, he used to do The Building, Daddy's House, whereas that unsigned rappers, unsigned artists would rap at this place, and it was called The Building on Monday nights. Then he would do the Red Zone on Wednesday. I would have to go with him and make sure that he was all right and take the money to Kirk Burroughs' house after the Red Zone. But I didn't think nothing at the time. At that time, I didn't think nothing of it, that he was spending the night with Kirk Burroughs either every Wednesday night. He got a whole girl at home, but he's spending the night with Kirk Burroughs. He's staying at Kirk's house. I'm like, yo, all right, cool. Didn't think nothing of it. And then Kirk had made a mention to some people over the years that him and Puff used to wake up and pray together. And I'm in my mind, I know he's talking about saying prayers and all that shit like that. But in my other mind, I'm thinking some You waking up with a dude praying? Shit is going on. Then there was a situation that somebody said long time ago in the office. They caught Kirk giving Puff a fellatio in the office. Now that was the rumor that was going around. How true it is? They was lovers. It came out in his lawsuit.
Now that
It came
part is
out in his
true.
lawsuit. He tried to say that
That part is true. That part is very true. That was talked about in the lawsuit. Kirk did mention things about that in the lawsuit. He didn't mention the sexual assault, but he did talk about different things that, would insinuate that there was a deeper relationship between him and Puff.
Puff was, what he said, sexually assaulting him. But if somebody's sexually assaulting you, how you letting them come stay at your house every Wednesday night? After the club. I think they were boyfriends, I think, my honest opinion, I think Kirk was in love with Puff to a certain degree. And Puff was using him, and Kirk was giving up the bugina to him.
Which, like I said, again, respect to Kirk. It only makes sense when you think about the whole business dealings. Remember, like I said, he only owned 25% of the label. Even though he was the co-founder and president of Bad Boy, Kirk only owned 25% and Diddy owned the other 75%. The deal was fucked up from the get-go. Not even a 60-40 or a 70-30 with your mans. He just gets a quarter and you take the quarter away from him and you try to sell the quarter back to him later after you threaten to beat him up out of the quarter. Like, you only doing that to your bitch or whatever. If you wanna call it like that, excuse my language. You only doing that to your female. Put it like that. You only doing that to someone that you disrespecting and just using. That's literally how that even sounds to me. For you to even let someone do that to you business wise, where you literally only take, you fine, daddy, you could take that with 75%. That's what that shit sound like. That's what he's trying to allude to, but he want to be respectful and say, but that's what the shit sound like to me. It sounded like that to me, clear as day. Kirk pretty much, like he said, was in love with Diddy and was willing to accept whatever from him. Even if it meant him owning majority of the label and him just still, that's the other thing, right? I got 25% of the label, but I'm handling all of the management work. I'm handling all the business shit. I'm handling all of the paperwork. I'm doing all the lawyer shit for you. I'm doing everything behind the scenes that all the shit that all people see is you on the phone talking to people, but in hindsight, it's really me doing all that business dealings for you to even be talking on the phone to these people. And while you're getting your hair cut and whatnot, and MTV filming you and shit, all that shit is me behind the scenes. And all I got is 25%, while you got the whole other 75%. Kirk was literally getting fucked and was taking it. I wonder if that's where Diddy got take that from.
Anything Puff asked him to do, he would do. He'd go at people. He'd talk shit. Kirk could talk shit to you on the behalf of Puff. And I believe that was his man to a certain degree in his mind. And the way he was saying shit on that documentary, you could feel that they had a relationship. He was hurt behind being Justin's godfather. He allowed Puff to tell him that he was caught up with Misa and everything like that. He believed all this shit. That's what I got out of it. I don't know what you and the other people got out of it. He was saying like he was a scorn lover.
But how did you find out that he gave Diddy fellatio? You know who they came from?
Well, we heard that a long time ago. Like when I was working for Bad Boy. I heard that rumor a long time ago. I was working for Bad Boy that Kirk was caught up giving them a fellatio in the office. And they got rid of one of the interns for walking in on him or something like that. You understand? But then Kirk come out in this documentary, in this lawsuit, and say he was giving Puff was making him, giving him fellatios and the bugina. That's in his lawsuit. But I guess if Cassie is a scorn lover, Kirk has the right to be a scorn lover too. Right? Both of them worked for him. Both of them was on the payroll, right? So I think Kirk was a scorn. Kirk, he do, and people knew this back in the day. He was 25% of Bad Boy. He did start Bad Boy. He did help grow Bad Boy, the artist, get the money, do all the things that he said as far as the business part of it. Kirk did everything he was supposed to do for the business part of it. But he still was Puff lover. He still was Puff lover. He know that. And he was his employee. I guess you can't have your lover working for you.
Can't have your lover working for you. That's very true. I agree with that part. Can't have your lover working for you. Now, again, like he said, Kirk did say that in his lawsuit. So I can already I can already see where he's coming from as far as it sounded like he was it sounded like he was a hurt lover. But Kurt did sound very he did sound like a very scorned person in the documentary. So, like I said, if anything, Gene is also doing this, in my opinion, to discredit the film in general. That's what I think. I think he's doing that literally to discredit the film in the documentary. Because, again, you got to remember, he feels cheated out of the documentary that Kurt did this. He felt that that Kirk did the documentary behind his back and took the information that he was going to use for a documentary that they planned to do together with another individual. And because Kirk has done this now with Netflix pretty much for free, you know, I think Gene also feels a little bit hurt behind that. And like I said, he's doing this more so to discredit, if anything. Because like I said, if it went Gene's way, from what I'm hearing, Gene would have left out certain things but been more detailed with other things. That's what it sounds like to me. He got tricked out of his ass. Pretty much. As I say, he literally got fucked. And what Gene is saying, you know, is very true. He talked about these things in the lawsuit. But He never came out and necessarily said, like I said, public. He never public. This is the first time he's publicly said that he got sexually assaulted by Diddy. Yeah, you can see it in Kurt. Kurt damn near crying. Kurt eyes is red the whole time while he talking. Like he was crying while he was while he was telling this shit, and they just never showed him crying on camera. That's literally how it looked. That whole damn docuseries, Kirk looked hurt. But I mean, who wasn't hurt? That's another thing too. Who wasn't hurt talking about Diddy? Being real about it, who wasn't hurt talking about that nigga? Hell, Eric Sermon like he was watching his words. He was reading off a teleprompter. to me, every time Eric Sermon came out, it looked like he was reading off a book or of a script. I'm like, did you write this shit down before you came out? Because he was watching his words very carefully. Even down to the point, like I said, he didn't want to mention that he was dating Misa. Remember? There's no person Misa was with before Diddy. Eric Sermon. Eric Sermon was, that's just my friend. that's just my friend. What do you mean it's just your friend? Oh, hey. You was diddling and dabbling with her too. Don't act like you wasn't. Why does this shit keep going off and coming back? I don't understand what's going on. 1 minute damn better there, next minute's not. I don't know what the hell happened. That shit was just there the entire beginning of the damn show. I don't know what the hell happened. I'll figure it out in a second. All right, moving forward. Well, not necessarily moving forward. In other parts of the news, because like I said, Diddy, in my opinion, I've said this many times before, and this is confirmation of what I've been saying. This is full proof confirmation of what I've been saying. Diddy is literally being held right now, and that documentary had a lot of extra information. A lot of extra new information. Remember before I said, I don't know if a lot of people knew Orlando Anderson was the nephew of Keefe D. The same Orlando Anderson that had the fight with Tupac in Vegas the night he got shot. The same Orlando Anderson that they are saying killed Tupac and has something to do with Pac's death, right? The same Orlando Anderson, like I said, is nephew to Keefe D. The documentary emphasized on that, right? Also, broke down Zip. Now, I want to talk about this too. You notice Gene did not deny what happened with that check. He talked around it, but he still would not deny that he saw a check given to Zip. Now, the amounts have changed between $500,000 and $1 million, right? But a $500,000 check was seen being given to him. The negotiation was $1 million, $500,000 up front, $500,000 after you actually kill him. That was the negotiation for Pac's killing. In the documentary, they talked about that $500,000 check that was given to Zip up front. Now, some of the key people that were witnesses of that check and owners of that, or should I say, that were a part of that business dealing are dead, which is D-Mac and Zip. And the only two people left alive is Keefe D and Orlando Anderson is also dead. Orlando Anderson, ironically, was killed right after the Pac killing. Now, of course, same way with Nipsey Hussle, you see the guy that supposedly is the shooter, he gets thrown away for life, and then death threats and all that. I think he got killed not too long ago. I'm not too sure. I can't remember. Similar with Nipsey Hussle, right? Make it look like it's a retaliation that happens to the guy. Lo and behold, people are saying Orlando Anderson was not the actual shooter. Again, the same person that shot Big, very similar to shot Pac, a brother that looks like they were from the Nation of Islam. A guy in a suit and a bow tie. Suge Knight actually talked about that himself. A guy in a suit and a bow tie shot Pac and him. A guy in a suit and a bow tie shot them. It was not Orlando Anderson or Keefe D. Now, what did happen is that Diddy did pay for Pac to get killed. It just didn't happen through Keefe D and Orlando Anderson the way they said. That part is what's going to be the only confusing part of the evidence. Now, whether Diddy gets conspiracy for this or not, it remains to be seen, because you still can be trialed for conspiracy of murder. You still conspired to murder somebody. Someone still ended up dying over your conspiring to murder them. Whether or not it was from your killers or not, someone still died. So you can still be linked to this murder. Now we just got to figure out who you actually paid to do this. You know what I mean? That type of thing. So again, being that the documentary emphasized on so many different things that were key parts of evidence that even link Keefe D to Diddy, that was another thing too. The Southside Crips. We went over this a couple of nights ago. The Southside Crips thing. Where Diddy lied on MTV News talking about he didn't hire Southside Crips to protect him, and Kirk Burrows confirmed, yes, Diddy did pay off and write out checks to for and hired security for Southside Crips. And Kirk Burrows was like, yo, you sure you want to do this? Is that a third? And Diddy's like, yeah. In the documentary, it's even linked to, and Kirk Burrows and another gentleman, I forgot his name, in the documentary was confirming his affiliation to Diddy's affiliation to D-Mac in the Southside Crips, and Zip, who was the head of the Southside Crips. And like, what's the Southside Crips? It was Keefe D. Keefe D was under Zip. Orlando Anderson was the nephew of Keefe D. See how it's all linking again back to Diddy. And it's like, okay, you lied about not having the Southside Crips on your payroll. You actually did have them on your payroll. And if you did have the Southside Crips on your payroll, then you definitely have something to do with that murder of Tupac. And you most definitely, possibly, also have something to do with the setup of Biggie Smalls' killing. But the focus is going to be emphasized on the Tupac murder. Remember when it was a breaking news and they were like, we going to Orlando Anderson's old house or whatever. Orlando Anderson long gone dead, but they specifically said on the news that they were going to Orlando Anderson. There was information that they found, I think, in Keefe D's house or something like that. When they arrested Keefe D, pretty much, they arrested Keefe D because it was in connection to Orlando Anderson's killing to Tupac. They specifically said in the news that they found information that linked Keefe D to the killing of Tupac through Orlando Anderson. Whatever video evidence that they had, Keefe D's, that's why I played the audio of it, Keefe D's actual statement to the police in linking Puff to the Tupac murder was played in that documentary. Keefe D said out his own mouth that Puff paid for the murder of Tupac. Keefe D said it out his own fucking mouth. Okay? So I was laughing hysterically today when I saw this come across my timeline. Remember I said the trial was going to happen in February. I'm like, it's a little close. I didn't say it out loud, but it's a little close. It's a little close. It's very close. It's a little close. Then this documentary comes out, and all of a sudden it gets pushed back. I'm like, oh. And what do you know? It says this Keefe D's Tupac murder trial postponed to August 2026 now, huh? The long-running case surrounding Tupac Shakur's 1996 murder has taken another turn. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis' trial has officially been pushed back due to what? An overwhelming flood of new evidence. I said a what? Verbatim. And this is all over the headlines now. An overwhelming flood of new evidence. I wonder what the flood of new evidence is, you know? KSNV reports that a Las Vegas district court judge set a new date for the trial to begin on August 10, 2026. The trial was initially scheduled to begin on February 9th, 2026. Keefe D's attorney, Robert Draskovic, told the count that the discovered material is voluminous. It means it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It requires significantly more time to review. Prosecutors did not oppose the request. Keefe D, 60, has been behind bars at the Clark County Detention Center since his 2023 arrest. He is accused of orchestrating the drive-by shooting that killed Tupac near the Las Vegas Strip nearly 3 decades ago. Now, when I'm hearing this, that's funny. They got a picture of Pac smirking. Rest in peace, my nigga. I know you smiling from having looking at all this shit right now. I know you are. Over the years, the former Southside Compton Crips affiliate has spoken publicly about the shooting. At times, he placed himself at the scene. Other times, he insisted he exaggerated details to sell books or land interviews. His statements have further complicated the case and its investigation. Keefe D remains in custody as his defense sifts through the massive case file ahead of the 2026 court date. What was I gonna say? What was I thinking about before? I saw that picture of Pac and fucked me up. So that picture of Pac fucked me up. Damn it. But yeah, so they're postponing it back to August 10th of next year. It's a lot of information. Oh, that's what I was thinking of. While he's behind bars. So, here's my assumption. Right? Could be wrong. Could be right. It's my assumption. Being that this now has gotten pushed back to August. What if something, remember, it was specifically said and emphasized on in the documentary, the only 2 people left alive that have knowledge of what happened with that negotiation and dealing are Keefe D and Diddy. The only 2 people that are left alive. The only other key witness that can be presented to this is Jimmy Henchman, who orchestrated the first hit on Tupac. And supposedly that was also through Diddy. Because Jimmy Henchman and Diddy are good friends. Remember, they asked Jimmy Henchman specifically in jail during his case. They asked Jimmy Henchman about Diddy, and they asked him about his dealings with underage boys. But it's like, how do you know that there's even a relationship between Jimmy Henchman and Diddy? The feds already had that information. Right? So again, confirmation that Jimmy Henchman and Puff, see, here's another thing too, right? And I've emphasized on this when I first talked about he didn't look good. No, he didn't. I emphasized on this before when I talked about rest in peace. 50 Cent, Buster Rhymes' friend passed away. Who was his name? Give me a name. Chris Lighty. When we talked about Chris Lighty, we talked about Chris Lighty's killing. And we found a video that pretty much broke down, and then we even started reading through the court filings of leading up to Chris Lighty's killing. We figured out that Jimmy Henchman and Diddy had something to do with Chris Lighty's killing. And I said, oh, see, people think 50 Cent is mad at him over Daphne. No. People think 50 Cent is mad at him over him trying to threaten him to take him shopping on some gay shit. No. This beef between 50 Cent and Diddy is over Chris Lighty. And I don't need to go into further details on who Chris Lighty is. If you know him, if you know who Chris Lighty is to 50 Cent, Chris Lighty is to Fat Joe. Chris Lighty is to a Busta Rhymes. Chris Lighty is to the entire music industry. You know what I'm talking about when I say this beef goes deep as far as that goes. The beef is really over Chris Lighty. 50 and Jimmy Henchman, of course, and 50 have their history. So for 50 to have knowledge of Jimmy Henchman and Diddy even working together, remember, that is the real reason why you saw the emphasis on the Biggie and Pac killing in the documentary, because 50 knows about Jimmy Henchman. Now, it wasn't talked about the first hit. It wasn't talked about in detail that Jimmy Henchman has something to do with the first hit. But if you notice, 50 did hint into a couple of things that would link Jimmy Henchman to it, a la the people that actually shot Pac were linked to being assassins for Jimmy Henchman. Their names are literally attached to being assassins for shooters for Jimmy Henchman and his crew. So, again, with 50 having that knowledge, and also knowing Jimmy Henchman's dealings with Puff, then you have further back information and confirmation that Jimmy Henchman was talked to by the feds about Sean Combs. One could only assume that the feds have now figured out how to string together everything. I'm pretty sure they found a lot of different missing pieces to this puzzle through this documentary. A lot of things got confirmed that weren't confirmed necessarily before, even down to the detective that was actually following the Biggie and Pac killing. He ended up being in the show, and I was so relieved when I saw him, because I remember him specifically in the Biggie and Tupac documentary I shared with you guys. That documentary that literally has been one of the pinnacle reasons why I do what I do as far as research and things like that. That documentary is very important to what I do. When I saw that detective, I said, yeah, if the feds talk to him, this shit is going to blow wide the fuck open. Because he's been following this. He was the reason why Gene Deal was able to see the illustration, because the film, shout out, I forgot his name too. Shout out to the guy. The crazy thing is the Biggie and Tupac documentary was literally a one-man show. And it was this one guy that just was super curious, and he didn't really have any connections to anything, no labels, no nothing. He was just going around with his little camera and just filming everybody and talking to the key people, the Little Caesars, the Gene Deals, the Reggies, the undercover cops that was working for Death Row, and the detective. He ended up talking to the detective that got kicked out of the LAPD because he was getting too fishy into the Pac killing and the Pac and Biggie murder. He was getting too deep into it and realized LAPD law enforcement was working for Death Row. When he started digging deep into that, when I saw that detective that got kicked off LAPD, I said, yo, this shit about to get crazy. Because if it is, like the article says, an overwhelming flood of new evidence, I hope to God they are talking to that detective, because he has a lot of information. He has a lot of fucking evidence that literally would send the LAPD in a fucking hole. And that's why I was even, when it came down to the David and Celeste Rivas case, I said, yo, I don't even trust LAPD like that because of Biggie and Pac. I don't trust nothing about the LAPD. Like I said, same LAPD that held that tape for 15 fucking years of Cassie getting her ass beat in the hotel. Talking about that LAPD, among other things, they cover up. I don't trust none the LAPD do. Yo, I hope that they talk to that detective, because if they do, LAPD is going to be under so much fucking fire, because they are the main cover-ups of Biggie and Pac's murder. Now, regardless, yes, Pac was shot in Vegas. So then you're like, what is LAPD? LAPD law enforcement was working for Death Row. That's where LAPD comes in. LAPD law enforcement was undercover working for death row. Not even undercover. They were just low key hired by death row. And there's even the guy that's on the ranch with the on the ranch. I forgot his not David Mackey. I forgot his damn name now. This light skinned guy on the ranch that pretty much, he was an ex cop that was working for LAPD. He pretty much got paid to just be quiet. But he even had key information and evidence that he gave the detective in the documentary, the videographer, excuse me. Like I said, they talked to that detective, yo. This whole shit is gonna get wild in August, and that's why I'm thinking to myself, something could possibly happen to Keefe D between now and then. Because again, if it's emphasized that the only two people left alive that have, the only two people that are left alive that were actually in the negotiation of Pac's killing are Keefe D and Diddy, one of them might not possibly make it to see this trial, if you get what I'm saying. Because if Keefe D dies in jail, then there is no trial. Puff comes home in 50 months. And then that's the end of it. If something were to happen to him. So if we're really, thinking about the actual chess move behind, say, even Diddy doing the Thanksgiving dinner, that's mafia shit. You know what I'm saying? You doing it, that's charity mafia shit that you doing. You are literally now trying to get control over certain people that could possibly get a link into Keefe D's jail where he's being held at, to say, hey, you know what, is there a way we could send a kite over there, you know what I mean, to Keefe D and, see if anybody knows him or is linked to him or anything like that. See if you could do that for me. I'm pretty sure, because jails talk to each other. That's an unspoken thing, but jails talk to each other. Okay? Just because everybody knows this. Why the Puffy let Keefe D live, though? Because I don't think he ever thought that he would be linked to the Pac killing. Put it like this, right? Keefe D is almost like how Top 5 is to Drake. You can say you my shooter all day long, but until I publicly put my arm around you and say you my shooter and all this other shit, are you really my shooter, or are you just some crazy nigga that claimed to be my shooter? You know what I mean? That's how Diddy looked at Keefe D. And then you have the different, like they said in the article, there's been times where Keefe D said, oh, I was just lying. I was just fibbing, trying to sell books and shit like that. But then you hear the statement on the docuseries of him plain as day saying, yeah, Puff paid us to kill Pac. You hear him on Vlad TV saying, yeah, Puff killed us to kill Pac. Talking about a whole detailed thing. Like, you made all this detailed story up in your head like this to sell a book. That you're the killer of Tupac to sell a book. Come on, Keefe. Come on, Keefe. But like I said, you're also seen as the crazy nigga that's just, making up stories in L.A. The crazy old nigga making up stories in L.A. That's what Diddy looked at him as. Also, another reason why Keefe D would still be alive is because Keefe D, again, is part of the Southside Crips, and he's very protected. So you would have to make some phone calls, some extra phone calls. And yeah, money talks, but not that long as far as respect go. When somebody got a certain level of, respect in the hood, I very much doubt that Puff could get a Keefe D knocked off. Yeah, some key players are gone, but when those key players are gone, that's when, again, Diddy's like, oh, well, I don't have nothing to worry about. And by the time you do have something to worry about and Keefe D gets arrested, you are also in your own legal troubles so that you can't move around. So that's why the timing was also significant to this, because you think about it like that, right? Keefe D gets locked up, but it's around the same time that Puffy is going through the bullshit with the Cassie trial or the Cassie lawsuit, then the LaRod lawsuit, then this 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 lawsuit. I ain't really got time or money even now to maneuver to get rid of or remove a Keefe D. The feds got him. How? What am I going to do? So, as well as if I do try something, if I was to try something beforehand, even if I had a hint that the feds were going to look for Keefe D and link him, of all people, to the murder of Tupac, I it's just not something I think Diddy even foresaw. Like I said, we talking about somebody that's just, he's mainly just, he was just always the loud one. Always the life of the party and the loud one. He was never he was never the smart one. And as we are coming to confirmation now, of course, he was never the business brains of anything either. Like Jaguar Wright said, Diddy and Jay-Z are the same people, just that Jay-Z is smarter. Same people, just one is actually smarter and knows how to move around. The other person just loud and don't know when to shut the fuck up. That's Diddy. The guy that's doing the toast at the party, Diddy. It's like, nigga, why are you doing this mafia style toast and whatnot? And you got, of course, Jay-Z raising his glass, but you see him side-eyeing, looking around like, does anybody see we doing this fucking toast? Yeah, I know they filming it and shit, but does anybody know what this toast is really for? That type of shit. Again, one knows how to move quietly. The other one is a loudmouth. The loudmouth, as you notice, got removed. His privileges took. All that. And the other one is moving around, just picking up the pieces. Pick up the pieces, pick up the slack where he left off at, keeping business flowing still. But, like I said, if something were to happen to Keefe D between now and August, I am not going to be surprised. Because, like I said, it wasn't a problem for Diddy until it became an actual problem for Diddy. Because nobody really linked him publicly to the Tupac murder until the Keefe D trial. Which, like I said, by then, he's already dealing with his own shit. And now you have this documentary that is so goddamn loud. You got to think about this too, right? Again, the chess move of him doing the charity Thanksgiving in the jails is so he could gain graces, knowing that documentary was coming out. Like I said, Diddy already knew about the documentary coming out. He already knew about it because he got it delayed. He literally said it on the phone to Justin when he was talking to him, when he was saying, make sure you take care of all the pizza boxes and that Netflix documentary is going to have a delay. He literally said that verbatim. He said the Netflix documentary was going to have a delay. He knew it needed a delay because he didn't want it to come out before the actual trial. That would have came out before the trial, he would have got fucking buried and probably been away for 20 years, not 50 months. But the documentary comes out while he's in jail. It could have a negative effect on him in the jail, or it could have a, balanced effect. Not even a positive effect, but a balanced effect. I can't say positive all the way because if there are people in jail that saw the documentary, which of course, if they could play video games and shit like that, they got some type of Wi-Fi. They got some type of Wi-Fi there. So if they're able to see certain things, if they've seen that thing on Netflix in the jails, like I said, it could either be a negative thing all the way where they're like, fuck you, Diddy, we don't care if you got us Thanksgiving, or it could have a balanced effect of, we got to watch that nigga. But like I said, he still could, from the Thanksgiving dinner, he still could have already, because put it like this, right? You spending all your commissary and all your money on the Thanksgiving dinner. The money's coming out of you, pretty much, right? Out of Diddy. That's pretty much putting a light bulb in everybody else's head that, Diddy does have some type of money. He does have some type of pull to get things done around here. He got us all Thanksgiving and cooking and shit. He got some type of money. So that could have put the light bulb off in somebody's head to say, you know what? Maybe he could do me a favor. But what does he want me to do in return? Or what does he want me to do ahead of time? I'm pretty sure he already has that one person by now. He probably already has that one or two people that will do anything for him in the jail. I'm pretty sure he has that already. So that's what I said. That's where it comes into play, where somebody could easily, give him some information about Keefe D, even though Keefe D is being locked up in a different jail. I'm pretty sure, like I said, because the jails talk. How did he delay the documentary though? Very easily. Very easily. You have to remember, Diddy still has some connections, but just because he's seen in the bad light with certain people doesn't mean that he doesn't have certain pull with certain how could I say this? So remember when he stepped down from, what was the name of his damn Revolt? Remember when he stepped down from Revolt? He just passed the ownership on to somebody else so that Revolt wouldn't be taken away. It didn't mean he lost his connections. Diddy didn't lose his actual connections when all this happened. Because if he did, he damn sure would have got way more than 50 months. That's another thing. All Diddy would have had to do is simply talk to the producers, or not even talk to the producers. He could have talked to somebody that's affiliated with the producers to get it delayed, letting them know, hey, certain things that you got there, it's not just about ruining my character. It's, do you want to be involved in this court case or not? Any information that you put out right now, the courts might decide to use and even delay my trial, which would further delay your documentary. If my trial gets delayed because of your information coming out on me, nobody wins here. That's what I said. He had to get it pushed back because, like I said, it's a lose-lose situation if the documentary comes out before the trial. Because now you don't have, remember, the documentary was, all 4 episodes was leading up to him getting arrested. So it was actually good timing that they waited. It was actually on a good part. It was actually on a good note that they waited. But like I said, it would have been a lose-lose situation because if the trial gets pushed back, now the documentary has to get pushed back even further. So again, with that, easily got it delayed. Easily got it delayed because it would have went in nobody's favor. But like I said, I would not be surprised if something happens to Keefe D between now and then. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. All right. Real quick, before I get into some importantness. Was looking at whatever. I don't know why this keeps asking me about this. Keeps telling me about viruses and whatnot. I ain't got no virus. I got no damn virus. What was I gonna say? Oh, where is it at? Where's it at? Did I get rid of it? All right. I did get rid of it. Oh, no. I got a picture. So Rajah Jackson, if you remember Rajah Jackson, the son of Rampage Jackson, Rajah Jackson had the incident with the wrestler in the ring and pretty much put the guy in the hospital and whatnot. Rajah had a rant recently. What happened to Al B. Shore's book or something that was supposed to come out in September, I believe. The reason why I don't think Al wanted to put out the book, especially with the Kim Porter thing. I think that's really why Al B decided not to do it. Because that Kim Porter memoir came out and he saw the effects of that. I think that's what delayed it. And then, like I said, you have the trial and everything happening. He's already going through lawsuits. I think Al pretty much got his closure already. That's why the delay of his book is happening right now. He's already got his closure. So if the book comes out anytime soon now, it won't look like Albie was just trying to get attention after he just gets out the hospital. That's another way it could have looked too. Him putting out the book while Diddy's even going through this could have made it look like he's trying to make shit about him and this, that, and the third, and trying to tell his story, of course, with Kim Porter. Even though everybody still wanted to know this information. He still, of course, I'm pretty sure wanted to be respectful of Kim, especially when that memoir came out and all the negative light that it got, even though there was probably some things that were very true in the documentary. So like I said, remember Albie Shore danced around some of the things that were factual and non-factual. He never wanted to emphasize on what was non-factual. You know what I mean? So a lot of that memoir was very, very, very hard-hitting to not only the family, but a lot of other people that were affiliated with Kim. And if he would have put a book out and it even went against or went with anything that was in that memoir, Al would have got an even more negative light than he's getting. Or should I say, he would have got an even more negative light than what the memoir got. Because he was good. He was good with the book coming out until that memoir happened. When that memoir happened, it was like, all right, do I really want to put this out? do I really want to put this out? Yeah, my anger and I'm exposing Diddy and this, that, and third, but everybody else is already exposing the man. Shit, half the shit I'm saying, everybody else is already saying. Is it even a need for my book right now? Not really. Not really. Not really. So I'm pretty sure Al was like, all right, when it's time, it's time. When it's time, it's time.